Morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hump day, bump day, whatever we're going to call it. 7/29/2020, Wednesday. I'm going to call it bump day. Market's up. I'm a little excited today. You can see I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning going through everything. What a day. Look who's back with us. The Knights who says neat. We've been missing you, my friend. We've been missing you. You go noticed when you're not here. So bump day is here, guys. I'm a little bit excited today. What a day. We got earnings flowing in. This is what it's all about. I get a little bit excited during earnings season. No, it's not too much coffee. It is earnings. I've got a little bit of coffee going right now. Maybe only my third cup, but it is a great morning. I've been going all morning. Let's talk about what's going on. The market's up only 69 points. You got an implied open on the Dow, 69 points. You got good news coming in from GE. Eastman Kodak's turning into a pharma company. You know what's funny is my ex-wife lives in Rochester, New York. Actually, she's moving back to Cincinnati tomorrow from Rochester. And all she talks about is how Eastman Kodak screwed everything up in Rochester. And I've heard the stories. Bill Padalon, who's an amazing writer with Money Morning, actually has great stories about Eastman Kodak as well. He watched the demise. So Eastman Kodak's going into the pharma business. Boy, this is a good time to get into pharma, right? So we've also got AMD last night knocking the cover off the ball. I guess since the Miami Marlins aren't going to play baseball, some of the semiconductor companies are going to do this. They knocked the cover off the ball. We're going to talk about that. I've got a ton of charts, a ton of results. We're going to go through them. I'm going to give you some trade ideas on almost all of them, and then I'm going to throw one in at the end for you. Just a little special kicker that I want to give you because I like that you're here every morning. And as I've said before, you know what? This is fun for me, and it's fun to help you guys out. That's why I'm here. That's why you're here. We're going to try to make a little bit of money with this extra trade. Boston. Yeah. Bruins, hate the Bruins. And by the way, NHL's planning to play this weekend. Major League Baseball starting about shutting things down already because of the Marlins. That you knew somebody had to ruin the party, but at the same time, we're going to get the NHL in a couple days. So those of us that are NHL fans are going to be very happy. Here we go. Let's start looking at the slides because otherwise I'm just going to sit here and stare at the screen. At some point, it's going to freeze up. You guys are going to make fun of the way it looks, et cetera, et cetera. So we're trading higher. It is on earnings news this morning. A lot of talk about what's going on with the stimulus package. Mitch McConnell came across the wires and said, you know what? This thing is not going to go through the House, it looks like right now, unless we have some sort of liability waiver. So this is going to get kicked up in the air. This is really absolutely, you know what? There's a story about the NBA bubble. Apparently somebody got out to go to a wedding and went to, let's just say, a nefarious club. So I don't even know if the bubble works, but you're right. We need bubbles. The MLS has been in a bubble. Hockey is kind of in a bubble. NBA is in a bubble. Baseball, football, trouble. Anyhow, GE misses on the bottom line, but hits their numbers and says they're going to start showing cash flow profits in 2021 or 2022. Aerospace is killing them right now, obviously. AMD, I already mentioned, up 11% after beating top and bottom line estimates last night, guiding revenue for Q3 and for fiscal year 20 above the expectations. This is one of those situations where you got to pay attention to any stock that does that. I don't care if they sell rubber dog poop that's flying on a plane from here to Japan. I forget what the line is from Top Gun, but when the colonel says, I'll have you fly in a plane full of rubber dog poop. If you beat earnings the way that AMD did, they just absolutely beat it, and then raise your guidance, and then your consensus for the next year. This is awesome. It's blowing up today. I don't think you buy it today, though. You know better than for me to tell you to buy it today. This thing has to pull back. It was already in another stratosphere. We'll look at that chart as well. Boeing, up 1.3%. Everybody knew they were going to miss their top and bottom line. This is exactly the situation that Mr. Florida was bringing up. Under promise, and in this case, under deliver, and you still get to go and have pizza after you get that bad grade card. General Electric, 1.2%. This is going to be a nothing report. The stock's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to show you the chart. I think that you look at this stock as one that is not going to move for a couple of years. And then one that most people aren't watching, but I'm watching, Saya. You see their trucks all over the place. They beat by 17 cents, report inline revenues, 125. They don't have any pre-market trading, so they're just sitting 125. The stock's going to trade open, though. Shopify, boom. You got to love Shopify, absolutely. Shopify, I don't have the chart in here because it's one of what I'm calling now our usual suspects. After the name, you guys know how much I love movies and how much I bring up the code. So this is one of our usual subjects that we're going to hit the chart anyway. You look at it, though, they're up 6.8% on their earnings report when they came out with it. I mean, just come on. They beat by $1.04. They beat on revenue. I mean, they did their job that everybody knew they were going to do it. Let's jump into some charts here because we're going to run out of time. We're going to be here until noon. I'm actually going to have to take all of you people into my 11 o'clock show with my night traders because we've got so much to talk about. We got to check the charts. 3,200, S&P 500, still holding that line right now. Look at the volume. It's not really picking up. I want to see volume like we saw back in June when we had that little pullback. I want to see volume like we had in May when we started to build up into this rally. We're still falling asleep here as traders. This is the situation right now, right, with the market. Everybody's sitting on pins and needles, and one of the reasons is because of, I don't watch C-SPAN. I don't watch C-SPAN. CNBC is going to cover it, but you've got the big four that are going to be in front of Congress today, testifying about antitrust legislation, et cetera, et cetera. That's why the market's kind of tippy-toeing around right now, especially the NASDAQ 100. I got a nice little stat in here for you on the NASDAQ 100 and their earnings reports tomorrow. But the market is kind of acting a little slow here, and it's because we've got all these earnings. They're in gridlock. It is, I've got another word for it that I'm not going to use, mental something, but it is analysis paralysis. Let's call it analysis paralysis. When you've got this much news coming out, when I'm looking at 42 reports from this morning alone, gapping up, gapping down, Seagate Technologies down 10%. We'll look at that chart. They're going to $35. I think you've got to play on that with a put if you like. AMC, not a big surprise, down 3%. You've got AMD up 12, FireEye up 12. LB, L Brands. I'm not sure who it is that brings up L Brands almost every morning, up 18% because they're doing cost cutting that is making a huge difference. I've got a chart for that as well. The spider holding it though, the 20-day right now, the traders trend line is still holding that. I can't even get my mouse over there. I'm so excited today. So the traders trend line is still holding on to the actual support for the market here. You see we touched down here. Right now, it's going to take a little bit more to push us down there. It doesn't mean I don't think it's going to be there. I think it is going to be a point where we have to have. And Jerry, you gotta believe with me. We have to have a 5 to 10% pullback. And if we do, that's when the market gets another 20% upside. Instead of these little dribs and drabs and blah, blah, blah. It's great for the day traders. All the investors are going to get impatient waiting around. When you look at volatility is still getting smashed down. We closed right above 25. This is the bane of my existence right now. I'm waiting to put that volatility trade on with my night traders. It's going to happen. Right now, the volatility is down to almost nothing. So when we look at this, this is going to be an indication that it's coming. Later today, we're all going to sit in front of our TVs. I may even just watch C-SPAN so I don't have to have CNBC people. But the tenuous trading on the triple Qs as Thursday's earnings approach. We're going to see the leaders of Apple, Amazon, Google, and Facebook testify to Congress about antitrust concerns. This is going to be a little bit of a... this is going to be a sideshow. This is going to be a lot of grandstanding. This is going to be... a lot of pomp and circumstance. I don't think we get much meat out of this when we talk about what to expect. We're going to have a lot of our leaders pounding the tables, talking about privacy, about you and I as and data, what our data is worth, and should they have this much access to it, and of course whether they're running monopolies here and whether they should be broken up into smaller companies. It's the same discussion we've seen for a while. Zuckerberg, I know, is going to go up there and start talking about new rules for the internet. There's going to be all kinds of things that are going to be going on. There could be some implications on these companies. I don't expect to see them move much at all because of one thing. When you look at it, Facebook, because of the timing of this testimony, Zuckerberg's going to be in Washington, D.C. They kicked Facebook from today to Thursday. You know what that means? 35% of the NASDAQ 100. 35%. I went and pulled the numbers this morning from my database. 35% of the NASDAQ's 100's weight is reporting within 1 hour tomorrow. 1 hour. So within 1 hour, you're going to know more than a third of the earnings report waiting for the NASDAQ 100. It's no wonder they're trading with a little jump in their step. Look at the chart of the cubes right now, up and down below the 20-day moving average. The trader's trend line right now. You're seeing volume start to pick up on the cubes. People are getting a little nervous. How am I doing protection? We're going to be doing protection. Zachary, you know how we're doing. Oh, you're asking Jerry. Getting some protection, yeah, today and protect my AMD shop. You either want to do some, I tell you what, guys, right now on these names that are high flyers, and full disclosure, I've got Shopify, I've got gold, I've got a couple of others here that are being mentioned. Trailing stops is what I put in, and I just tighten them up. They're at about 7% right now. When something like AMD moves the way it goes up to a 5%, and eventually I just close it. But also, Mercado Libre, absolutely love that action too. Mercado Libre moving along with Amazon. I mean, they're joined at the hip. There's actually a cool company, and it's coming out in a report today. I'll give you a little bit of we'll save it for the end. It's a Brazilian PayPal, basically. I like it ahead of their earnings as well. I think it's a neat play here. Let's get past the cube so I can actually get to this stuff. Volatility of the volatility. Notice how the VIX has now dropped even lower on this. This is telling you guys that there is a storm coming. It is coming. It's going to give us a situation where it's going to move higher. Now, this is the VXN, so I'm looking at the actual NASDAQ 100. NASDAQ 100 is what we're looking at here. So both the volatility indices in those areas. Let's look at the charts. It's absolutely great timing here with the question about Amazon and 3,200. Traded below its 20-day moving average today as earnings approach. And obviously you've got Jeff Bezos going up to Congress. What's that going to be like to go up and sit in one of those tables? What would you do for fun? Would you maybe wink at one of the congressmen? That kind of would be fun, actually. I'd have to think of something that would be neat to do. You know, give him a little Fonzie or something like that. Lower highs on the stock. I don't like that. You know that. We hit 3,300, hit 3,200, hit 3,100. It tells you that the next move should be down to 28 and we go up to 3,000. Now, Amazon has been one of those stocks where you see an initial reaction where it sells after earnings. Think about AWS is going to be on and this is, we're talking earnings tomorrow. AWS is going to be high on everybody's mark because of everybody working from home. Cloud computing growing even faster now because of that. So they're going to be comparisons of AWS against Azure. And that's going to be one of the big. Azure did pretty good with Microsoft's earnings the last quarter. So you have to assume that AWS is slowing down just a little bit. I think you see 29, maybe even 2,800 on Amazon before you see 3,200. But that 2,800 is a buying opportunity on Amazon right now. You can see, again, this is the volatility of the stock. It's been coming down right now. I don't like the fact that it's moving below the 20-day. You're seeing the traders get out ahead of it. It also tells you that they're getting away from the, if you will, away from the buying the rumor here. And I think there are just too many rumors to buy. Good, bad, and indifferent. Watch Amazon. I think the negative, right now the bias is to the downside. If I'm looking at it, and certainly you can go and write a 2,800 put on this stock, but it's gonna bring some premium into your pocket. You're gonna get a nice little premium for that, and I wouldn't mind buying it at 2,800. Look at how the volume dropped off yesterday too. It's all about going up in front of Congress. What are they going to ask? What would you do? You'd spray deodorant on the table? Is that what you'd say you do in front of the Congress? What if you pulled out a little mini air bottle of a really good bourbon? That would be funny too. Apple, same course here. down below the 20-day moving average. The traders are moving away. Yesterday, I mentioned to my night trader people, utilities, REITs, healthcare picking up steam over the last couple of days. It's because you're seeing money moving from some of these high flyers into safer harbors right now. The money's coming out, volume's dropping off on these companies. You got the RSI right in the middle. Apple could be a coin toss. A lot of pressure here on what, first of all, is going to be the new phone. We're going to have a new phone announcement date probably during this earnings report, as well as what they're doing on the subscription side. That is turning into a bigger deal for Apple. Again, I think Apple has always been one of those stocks where you get a nice 4 or 5%. They come out with a good report and you get a 4 or 5% pullback just on the report. Usually it's after a run up in the stock. This is what you normally see, or this is what you normally see. This throws us into a little bit more of a what if. I think that Apple probably pulls back to its 50-day at 350, and that's the point where people start to come in and buy it. Google, another one that's queued up for us, 1,500. It sits at nice round number. Look at the support across Google. I think Google comes out of this in better shape than Apple and Amazon right now. Google has been doing obviously a little more of a quiet job of continuing to grow. Volumes picking up here. The traders really aren't running from it. Option activity on Google is picking up on the call side right now. So I think that Google is one that is going to come out higher after earnings. And well, you got 1 day. Well, Jerry, that 1 day is 1 week for you from what I get the feeling of. And Facebook, here's the biggie. Obviously, lots of commentary around Facebook, what's going on with the company, where they're going to go, what's going to yada, 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 yada. You're going to see some comments, obviously, on right now the boycott that's going on, how it's affecting their advertising revenue. Facebook continues to struggle a little bit here over the short term as they work their way through this. Sheryl Sandberg came out 2 weeks ago with a comment that was, hey, we're addressing things and we're taking things as we need to. Sorry, I was opening up one of my fuzzy waters here, my flavored seltzers. And immediately got called out and said, you guys aren't doing enough and the panel's not moving fast enough. I think that's what they're going to hear about today when he's up on Capitol Hill. 230 right now is your print on it. It's tried to hold 230. I honestly think that you see probably somewhere around a 210 or 205 on Facebook over the next month. Next month, not next couple of days, next month. It is a stock that requires a little bit of a refresh right now. Facebook is the one that I like the least out of this. Let's trade this morning's results. So I mentioned AMD. AMD beat by a penny. Remember when Cisco used to beat by a penny and it would pop the stock by 12%? John Chambers would get on, who was on CNBC yesterday, and just make you feel so good about where Cisco was going. Not so much now, but beats on revenues, guides third quarter revenues above consensus, guides fiscal year 20 revs above consensus. It's up 11%, up at $75 ahead of the open right now. $75 on a stock that was just up in that overbought territory. You saw what happened when we hit 70. We might squeeze up to $77, $78 here. I think you're going to have a little bit of a feeding frenzy, some more volume coming in. There is no short interest to speak of to cover on this stock. This is one where the shorts have been out of the way for some time. So don't look for a short squeeze higher on the stock because it's just not going to be there. This is going to be upgrades, which we've already seen on the stock. And I mean, 3%, they had a 3% increase in their short interest, and their days to cover is less than 1 day right now. Look for the stock to pull up to 75 and then go up to 77 or so. That's where you want to have your tight stop losses in. And then you buy this back at 68 to 66 because this stock is going to be a juggernaut for the next quarter. People are going to use that limit order approach I always pound the table on and get back in, maybe even 65 if you want to get greedy, but don't get too greedy on this one. The stock is going to move. And AMD right now, I've got to target $85 before they hit their next earnings report. Seagate Technology on the other side, they missed by 3 cents. I've got to show you somebody that at least missed on revenue. They missed on both of them. They guided Q1 EPS lower, consensus, revs below consensus. Target right now for Seagate Technology, STX 35. I can't look at the options because we're not open right now. But if you look at this If you look at this particular stock, 35 bucks is my target on it. And 35 seems like it's cruel, but Seagate Technology, obviously, you're more in the storage area here. They have had some mishandles over the last couple of years, exactly like this quarter. And certainly you have something to do with the coronavirus, but I think the stock's going to make a pretty rapid move. We're at least going down to 45 in the near term. We're going to be at 44.50 at the open today. So you're opening, you're taking out your May lows, and now we're heading already towards March lows. $40 is going to see some support right now. If you watch that 40 level for some support, you might find some buying, but I think you've got a clear path, which still gives you another 10 to 15% from the 44.50 that we're going to see it open. Expect to see a little buying come in after the market opens here, but the 50-day was rolling over on this stock. The 200-day was rolling over. And when you look at let's pull this up. Let's see if we can push the limits here on technology. When you look at Seagate Technology, you can see I was looking at Datadog before I got on with you guys. When you look at Seagate Technology, STX, the monthly trading below, this is going to be the second month below its 20-month moving average. It's going to take that 50-month. The 50-month really isn't something I watch. It's at 20-month. So it is trading in a long-term bear market, folks. Seagate Technology, 35 bucks is my print. You can play it with somewhere around a 45 option and probably look at the October, maybe even Jan expiration. Seagate's going to take a little while to turn this boat around. SAIA, I mentioned earlier. I mentioned it because it's a transport company. My night trader people know why I'm mentioning it, because we've got a position that is in the same category. We've seen some strength come through on the trucking company, the logistics company, air and logistics. Fact of the matter is you're getting more materials going across the country right now as we start to see things even more up. Beat by 17 cents. Inline revs, didn't give much guidance. It's in line. There was one upgrade on the stock. 125.48 is where it closed. There is no pre-market trading on the stock, so it's sitting there at that 125.48. I'm expecting the stock to make a run up to 143, 144 here over the next couple of weeks. SAI has made this huge run, and notice the little selling we got here. People got out of the way. This is unlike Microsoft. We saw this pattern with Microsoft. We saw this with another company, interesting, that I talked about yesterday. And this is giving a little sneak. Actually, I'm not going to give you a sneak peek. Fast money should be coming out, or fast profit should be coming out on the website today. Take a look at it. I've got a call on a stay-at-home, a Zoom type stock that just got nailed for 20% after their earnings report. The stock went up 12% the 5 days before the earnings report, had a great report, got nailed for 20%. We're going long with some January options on this stock, but I'm going to make you watch the fast money. Maybe if my moderator help here can help get a link. I don't think it's up on fast money yet though, but make sure you check it out. And if it hasn't been up there by tomorrow, I'll get it to you. Great pickup though. I think it's going to be a neat one. I am not long iRobot. I told you guys the earnings last week. It's actually looking like it's bottoming down. That was a stock that was set to come down, and that's exactly what happened, about 20%. Love the fact that I nailed that one. Anyhow, let's keep going. GE, because I've got more for you. GE, trading up 1.2%. This stock is lumbering, kind of like the financials. The financials that are killing me, night trader people know the two I'm talking about specifically. It's a flat line. This stock is not going anywhere right now. Still waiting for a lot of management turnaround. I've got the GE engine about 15 minutes away from me, where they make a lot of the engines in Evendale, Ohio. They've been laying people off left and right. Stock's going to open up just over $7 right now. 702 is the last print I saw on it. Don't expect this to set the world on fire. I think the reason that people are getting a little bit excited about this report is you're going to see GE be able to hold on to the dividend. The dividend yield on GE is, let's see, it's got to be high because GE trading down at $7. You've got a 0.5% dividend yield on it. They do go through some cuts on that dividend, so even holding it for the dividend right now seems like it's not a great cause. I like GE probably over the next 3 to 5 years to start making moves, but this is almost like a Boeing situation where you have to just wait it out. Now, LB, 19.7%. The stock is going to open up at $25, $26. Let's see where it's opening right now. LB trading at in the pre-market, 24.58% up. It's trading at $23.82. So it is almost at that $24, which matches the highs we saw in March right before the pandemic really took the stock down. They went through and announced $400 million in annualized cost reductions. Reopened most of their Bed Bath and Body Works stores. Bed Bath, that's a Freudian slip right there. A Bath and Body Works store and the Victoria's Secret store in North America. So they are back up and running again. I miss Neutron Jack as well. You look at it, it was finding some support at the 20. Nice little basing it was doing here. Everything coming up roses with the technicals. At $24, the stock's too rich. It's going to be overbought. You want to wait until this stock comes back to $21, a limit price of 21 bucks. If you own it at right now at 19 and it's up at 24 today, again, a trailing stop of somewhere around the 3 to 4% still gives you an opportunity to buy back down another 12.5% lower at 21, if my math is correct on that 3-point move. That is a nice little grab, and boy, it would be great to cause that. The other side of this is LB has been a little bit of a leadership, one of those leadership companies in the retail sector. You could decide to hold. Personally, I'm going with a tight stop loss, right, buying this thing at 21 when it pulls off of the overbought. So 914, I'm moving along a lot faster. Let me see what you've been saying here just for a couple of seconds. I'm going to go through and read a few of these. Maybe there's a question or two in there. Are there any questions in there? We do. Is it time to go with QQQ puts? Guys asking. You know what? You look at the NASDAQ 100, 35%, as I mentioned, of the weighting of the NASDAQ 100 is going to be released in earnings within 1 hour. I mean, I'm going to have to get popcorn and some Raisinets and put the CNBC up on the 84-inch screen down in the basement and just watch for that hour, because it's going to be fun to watch everybody going crazy here. The question, though, yes, I think there's going to be a pullback in the NASDAQ 100. Look what happened to Microsoft. And we've seen some pullback in Amazon, Google, Apple, Facebook, and some of these other leaders. The semiconductors don't make up the leadership of the NASDAQ 100. The semiconductor that's at the top in the NASDAQ 100, Intel. And it's about 4% now of the NASDAQ 100. Intel, the same company that just dropped the ball on earnings. So I think you look for a little bit of a pullback after the earnings reports get out. Maybe not Thursday, but this is going to need that seasonal pull. We need to flush the market system. Morning, CG. What is my price target for silver? Man, silver is going, let's take a look at the chart on silver, because I like looking, that was one of the usual suspects that I wanted to hit real quickly. Silver, gold, Wheaton, and then Barrick Gold I want to look at as well, because these are the ones that I really like. EGO, let's look at El Dorado real quickly as well. El Dorado is one of those gold plays that I like at the minor level. There's your day. Let's get to the silver, since we're looking at silver. El Dorado, they'll find in a base at 12 bucks. That's a really nice basis putting in there. Another fast profit trade from a month or so ago. You look at silver right now, $23. We are deeply overbought right now. The Fed's going to come out and give us news at 2 o'clock. Somebody earlier asked, is that going to move the markets? I don't think this is a market-moving Fed announcement, because really he's already said what he's going to say. He has told us he's going to do whatever the Fed can. Let me go back on that, because now that I'm thinking about it, and I saw a quote earlier. And it was Powell saying, well, the Fed is going to do everything they can do. And a month ago, the Fed was saying, we're going to do everything we need to do, we have to do. And obviously, that's right before we saw them start buying corporate bonds, and everybody started to have put conspiracy theories together on whether or not they're buying stocks. They're not buying stock portfolios right now, guys. They're buying corporate bonds. Problem is, corporate bonds are being issued so quickly. Watch Goldman Sachs on their next earnings report, not this last one, but their next. And their underwriting business is going to go through the roof, because everybody and their mother in the S&P 500 is trying to lock in financing right now on this absolute bond rush. When you get the Fed in there buying those bonds, as well as everybody else running into the market right now for bonds, watch Goldman Sachs because I think they're going to have some underwriting business. It's going to be off the charts. That's going to help them next quarter. That's 3 months away, though. Right now, when we look at this from the situation of the Fed's going to tell us they're going to keep doing whatever they can do now. And that's a limitation in the language, or that's a change from a word. And we know how everybody likes to look at one change in what Mr. Powell or whatever any of the Feds say. But a simple change in words can throw things around. The Fed is still going to do whatever they have to do to get the market going. That is going to keep silver and gold with a nice bid right now. I don't like the fact that silver's trading up at 23 after it was just at 19 a week and a couple days ago. Sorry, I had to get a little drink, guys. I think you look at silver, make a pullback at some point, $21. You see some profit taken out of this, out of the silver trade. And that's where you hit silver. And from there, I think you probably end up with a 3 handle on silver by the end of the year at the rate we're going, with the dollar continuing to weaken, gold continuing to get stronger. Obviously, that puts even more pressure on the dollar right now. So you've got, somebody mentioned yesterday in our night trader chat, they could pay their Visa bill with Bitcoin. Who knows what kind of pressure that's going to start to put on the dollar as well. UDN is your play on the dollar through the year end. And when silver comes down off this frothy little overbought reading, you grab it at 21. And I think that's a trade that goes off until year end as well. You get a 3 handle on that. Gold as well. I think gold's going to go a little bit slower. Silver's a more volatile trade. Gold, let's take a look at gold. It's the same chart, not as much of a pop there. It is, but it's 183 versus 30-something, 20-something, 23. So if we look at this, you know what, same thing, 180 on GLD is where you look at. You look to pick up some of the miners after that pulls out. You should have some stop losses in if you've got some nice profits on Barrick, companies like Barrick, Wheaton Precious Metals in the silver area. WPM's a ticker symbol there. They just jumped from 52 up to 55. I think they come back and rest at 52 and then take off again. There's your precious metal play for the day. Try saying that fast 3 times. Thought on the VIX and the IWM. Guy, the IWM, shouldn't have said your name, sorry. IWM continues to give you a little bit of strength here, lighter volume right now. You've got IWM companies that are going to start to flood the market with their earnings reports in about 2 weeks. We got to get the S&P 500 out of the way. That's the next 3 weeks, this week, next week, and the week after. After that, we start to get into smaller mid-cap companies where everybody starts to care less about earnings, even though these are more important companies right now because these are the companies that are being pressured more by COVID-19, et cetera. I think that you see the IWM right now showing some strength because there's a short squeeze. The short interest ratio for the average company in the Russell 2000 right now is 6.1. 6.1. The S&P 500 is about 2.8. To give you an idea, there's a lot more short covering that's happening in the IWM, and that's why you've got the IWM moving up to these highs as we get this last push. That is what I call the short squeeze market right now. Short squeeze market gives you all kinds of bullish opportunities to look at. Hate to shameless plug, but another article coming up you should see on Monday morning that I wrote about the short squeeze market that is starts with a great baseball analogy. Read that because it's got 3 great plays on that are short squeezes right now. And then there's going to be another that's got a couple of earnings plays that comes out today or tomorrow. I believe it'll be today as well. I've been busy writing for you guys. So IWM, VIX, we're going to see a pop. 25 and the 200-day have to give. The 50 days right after that. 30, break above 30. Takes you up to 40 on the VIX. It's going to be an easy volatility trade. You can do it with the VXX, or you can do it the way that we're going to do it in the night trader portfolio. Don't give away any secrets, please. And then on the IWM, that's where we start to add some shorts as a general short. We had a short that I had to close out. Wasn't working out. I'm glad I did because the IWM's moved up another 5% since then. But it's just putting us into a position where we'll put on another one of those shorts, and that one will grab some quick gains. What about Visa? Visa came out, numbers were good. Why aren't they going up as much in the pre-market? You know what? You've got consumer spending numbers that came out yesterday, consumer sentiment numbers. It's down 3.5 points right now, 1.8%. Visa's been a flatline stock. This is what I call, you want to see the chart. You don't want to look at me talk about this. I'm sorry, guys. So Visa's been a flatline. It's been one of these, not even an EKG. EKG is a stock that gives you a nice 10% range that you can trade high to low, high to low, high to low, high to low. You're not trading this 200 to 190. 200 to 190 business. And the 50-day, you can tell when the 50, 20, and 200 are all flat, it's telling you the stock is just, it's boring. It's boring. It is not, Moderna, obviously, where you get the sawtooth action. It is not, Zoom, where you get the sawtooth action. It is in the sawtooth action on Zoom. Notice the little turnover. I'll bring up another one that is interesting to me. And again, another shameless plug here, but Fast Profits, check it out, please. But let's go back to Visa and MasterCard right now. A lot of people looking more at consumer feelings and let's put it this way. Think about the last time, if you're a business traveler or a business person, when's the last time you pulled out your Amex card? I got a nice little friendly email from Amex because I'm a Sky Miles member, and they love me because I get Sky Miles, and they like when I go places. And I got it was a very nice friendly reminder, that, hey, we're still here, and, we know you're trying to do business, and we're adding these services and this and this and that. They're trying to get me to use my card. And there's no reason for me to use the card right now. Plus, I've got, I've got an Apple card, which I put almost everything on because I get a better cash back on it. But at the same time, Visa and MasterCard in the same place. We're swiping our cards less. That's where they make their money. Every time that thing goes through the machine, that's where they're making their money. They can beat on earnings and the revenue, but if the consumer is not got a positive outlook, Visa and MasterCard, and let's look at MasterCard's chart as well. Visa and MasterCard are two stocks that are going to continue to fall asleep, and Amex you can put into that same category. You got MasterCard going between 320 and 300 right now. Nothing there. Amex right now. Why am I putting AXP? Why did I put in actually Amex as if I were giving the card? Again, gone to sleep. Guys, these stocks are going to be sleepers until we start to see the consumer come back in large style. And when we're closing down restaurants, and word is that they're closing bars in Ohio tomorrow, the governor's going to announce it. And they're also going to take restaurants down to 25% in Ohio, which is exactly what they did in Kentucky yesterday. This is a situation where you've got, your credit card companies are going to start to watch or go sideways. Also, take a look at, just on that side note, let's do a little side note look. Darden has been quiet as can be here. I drove by an Olive Garden yesterday. I was blown away at how busy the parking lot looked. I think if we start to see a lot of the states go back towards this 25% occupancy and you got to dine outside, you got to watch out. Neutral iron butterflies on Visa. Problem is the premiums aren't going to be that huge on the stock as they've gone sideways here. But yeah, you could squeeze some profits out of those for sure. You could absolutely squeeze some profits out of those for sure. I saw the Fast Profits Baseball article this AM in my email, then disappeared. Was it removed? No, it should be up. That's a Monday Morning article, so you should find that up on mondaymorning.com. That is a short squeeze play that it looks as though somebody just said that they enjoyed it. So AK did. I'm going to go through a couple more here. Kodak. Do I think it's going to reach up to 30? You know what? And I was not. No, I was not in this trade before. I haven't looked at Eastman Kodak. Well, since the ticker symbol was EK, which tells you how long. I mean, it's been a long time. They got delisted from the NYSE. I typically not looking at a $2 stock that sits around and does nothing, especially when it's Eastman Kodak. This move into pharmaceutical is big, and I think it's probably because of, obviously, when you look at the XBI, this is a company that's trying to reinvent itself, obviously a chemical background. Believe me, the silver market is not being hurt because they're not making film anymore. Silver, for those of you photo bugs out there like me, silver was what they used for film. And but anyhow, I get a little nerdy on you every once in a while. Anyhow, is it 1970? That's a very good, very good reference there. Well, once you go pharma, they're going pharmaceutical. It makes a little sense because of their company's chemical background. We'll see where they go. It's going to be an interesting foray. I noticed the CEO on CNBC this morning. You would have thought he could have had a better backdrop behind him. That was the only thing that I thought. It looked like it was a little bit, well, I have a better backdrop sometimes. Actually, even with you guys, I do. Let's see what else. Camping World Holdings. Winnebago announced this thing this morning. And we're about to go to 9:30, so I'll shut things down in a second. Winnebago announced that they're starting to use a lining inside of their campers that is some sort of microbial surface that will actually reject any bacteria. Folks, we're going a little too far when we're trying to do this with our campers. And believe me, I've got one. There's a bunch of this. Ironically, when the Costco ran out of the bleach wipes, the Clorox bleach wipes, I just went out to the storage unit and hit my camper and pulled out the 6 boxes of them that I had in there. If you got a camper, you usually keep it clean. I'm not worried about it. I'm worried about being in nature in my camper, not the virus sticking to the side of it. But I think it's funny, and it gives me a reason to bring up Winnebago right now. Look at the crossover with the 20 and the 50-day right now. This is not the play. We still know the play in the camping area. It is Camping World Holdings. And remember, Marcus Lemonis, who is the CEO of Camping World, also bought Good Sam, the campground. So he's not only got the campers that he's selling, but he's got campgrounds all over the country. Great play. I think we move above 40 on this over the next couple of weeks here. Great job getting Zach. Thank you for getting that up there. The short squeeze market. That's great. If you aren't getting, okay, refreshing the page. Let me go back. I'm going to look at 1 or 2 more questions here. XLF down 17 to 17 by October. Well, it would tell you, history would tell you, yes, summer months are bad for the XLF, just like Labor Day to Christmas is good for the XRT. This year, that's not, or Labor Day to Thanksgiving. This year, it's not going to be the case. We've got to see, in order to get that move down to 17, you've got to see a poke that's going to take us down 30% on the index. The XLF right now is one of those sleeping giants, right? I mean, we've got a 14% move here in 5 days that we saw in June. We've got a move coming. 17, I can't put a number on it that's going to be a 17. It'll be a one handle of some sort. These banks right now, and the stimulus package is going to give them a little bit of a help because it's going to put cash back in deposits, and that's exactly what they liked when we got the first round of stimulus. That's what helped us. The $600 is going down, helps put money in the accounts, helps get the fees up, et cetera, et cetera. I saw a Moderna question. Moderna and AstraZeneca, I think, are the 2 companies that you hold until this thing is over. You can sawtooth this if you like. Wait till it gets up above 100, put your trailing stop in at 3%, and then buy it when it pulls back to 85 the next time, because this is a sawtooth stock. Up, back down, up, back down, up, back down. Long time here. They just started the clinical trial. They said they had 30 monkeys that actually resisted the multiple exposures to the COVID-19 virus. Now they're trying it out on 30,000, and we'll see how that goes. I mean, the efficacy it's got to be better than 50%. 30,000 people. Who knows what's going to happen? I was not able to trade Kodak. Oh, I'm still up there. Too late to buy TSM. Taiwan Semi took a huge jump. All of them took a huge jump except NVIDIA, because the NVIDIA is not picking up any of the business from Intel. I think Taiwan Semi is a stock that you buy. I said this actually the other day. So Taiwan Semi on my own, it looks like a 72 to 74 print is where a limit order goes in. It is not going to be too late. You just don't buy them when they're this frothy. It's like it's like buying a car when the tank is empty. I'd rather have them take it and fill it up, have the dealer fill up the car at $74 or $75 and then take it off the lot at that point. Let them put a little gas. Let the market put a little bit of gas in the tank here before you buy the stock. So there we have it. What are you going to watch today? Real quickly, I'll wrap it up because market's already open and the Dow's only trading up 25 now. Watch for a little bit of chop today. You got the Fed coming out at 2. Nothing new is going to be said. I think it'll drive a little bit of market activity. Watch the congressional hearings. Boring. Watch the congressional hearings, or at least watch the outtakes of them. There may be some things in there that are going to shake up the tech world. And then after the market, we've got another slew of earnings. Good earnings reports this afternoon. I'll cover some of them tomorrow morning. I'll give you some more trades on them. And we'll talk about a couple, maybe that fast profit trade. I think if the fast profit trade is up, it is not up yet. I don't think it is up. So I will make sure you guys get to see the fast profit trade tomorrow. It's a good one, and it's going to make some money over the next 6 months. All right, that's it. Night trader people, I'll see you at 11 o'clock. Oh, I almost froze there for a second. I'll see you at 11 o'clock. And everybody else, 8:45 tomorrow morning, we'll talk more earnings. I'll pull out a couple extra trades like I did today. Watch Seagate Technologies heading down towards that 40 to 35 range. Nice little put trade for those of you out there that are willing to take a look at it. Have a great day. I wish you the best trading success. And as one of our people would say, we know who it is. Make lots of moolah. All right. Have a great day, folks. Bye-bye.